Hello and Assalamu alaikum. I am Kashif Kamran. A very warm welcome to the Advanced Audit and Assurance webinar to success for the June 2022 exams. Today is the day one of the webinar to success for June 22 exams. Now, just before starting with the proceeding of the webinar, I would first like to introduce myself as a tutor. I am Kashif Kamran, a fellow chartered certified accountant. In terms of my teaching experience, it's been 15 years since I am teaching the ACCA qualification. My core specialization lies in the AA paper, the AAA paper, and the strategic business leader paper. In terms of my association, I have my own setup, which is the Online Lecturers Academy, and I am the owner and I heads the Online Lecturers Academy, where I work as a freelancer tutor. I'm also associated with PAC, which is a gold approved learning provider of ACCA in Lahore, Pakistan. And I'm also associated with the Zivet College in India. In terms of my webinars, I've conducted 14 AAA practice to pass sessions with ACCA Pakistan. And since December 21, I am doing my own webinar to success for the AAA paper. I'm also a registered mentor for Oxford Brookes University research project. So that sets my profile as a tutor. Let's start the proceeding of the webinar to success for AAA for June 22 exams. You can follow me on my social media. You can follow me on my YouTube channel. And that's pretty important because the recordings of the webinar will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. So you have to be very familiar with my YouTube channel over the next few days because the recordings of the webinar will get uploaded on the YouTube channel. You can follow me on my Facebook page, which is AAA by Kashif Kamran. I'll be posting the recordings of the same webinar on my Facebook page as well. You can follow me on the Instagram because the recordings will be there as well. You can email me at kashifkamran@gmail.com if you have any queries or you were unable to get the recordings. And you can WhatsApp me at my WhatsApp number. So there are different ways through which you can reach me. So at least you can get benefit of these webinars and the resources and ensuring that these resources gets to you. Okay, let's start on with the day one of the webinar to success for June 22 exams. The very first thing we are looking for on the day one in this webinar is objective, pass rates, and the paper format. I will just spend a quick 5 minutes looking at what is the objective of this webinar, what is the pass rates for AAA, and what is the paper format, because that's extremely important when you're preparing yourself for the upcoming AAA exams, which is just under 18 days away from now. Now, in terms of the objective of this webinar, the objective is to give you the right direction to pass the upcoming exams, a direction which is closer to the examiner mindset. So if you want to pass the AAA paper, this webinar will bring you closer to the examiner mindset, which will enable you to pass the upcoming exams. The sessions over the next 5 days will be a mind opener for all of you as they provide you the right tips and techniques, because this is the time when you need to have a fine tuning. This is a time when you need to know what exactly you should be doing in the next 18 days, because this is a very crucial time for all of you. You must have prepared yourself either as a self-study student or you must be registered with a tutor. Irrespective, for any student, this is a crucial time when you're preparing for AAA exams. 18 days away is your actual exam, and this is a very, very nervous time. What you should be doing inside these 18 days is a very big question, which is to get answered right on the day one of the webinar today. So the right tips and the right techniques you're looking for in terms of success in the upcoming exams. This webinar to success will also mitigate your misconceptions and myths. Students have hundreds of misconceptions about AAA and hundreds of myths about AAA. I've been very regular on the WhatsApp group. I've been looking at your chats with other students. I've been looking at the questions and answers you're doing with other students on the WhatsApp group. And there are lots of myths and misconceptions the students are creating among themselves, which needs to be mitigated through this webinar to success as well. So that's basically the objective of this particular webinar for June 22 exams. The passing rates, that's a big challenge for AAA exams, right? And 18 days away, you will be part of this challenge when you are sitting in the actual exam hall. If you look at the passing rates on average is 33%. So 1/3 of the students gets passed in the AAA paper in the very first exam sitting. That's not a big number, but that's a very common number you have with every strategic optional exam. You need to find what is the actual challenge in the AAA paper. And over the next 5 days, I will be guiding you about the challenge, not just the challenge. I will be giving you the mitigations. I will be giving you the ways to overcome the challenge, because you need to find a solution that when the passing rate is a challenge, still the student passes the paper. Still the student attains a place winner position. Still the students score 70 marks in AAA paper, 75 marks in AAA paper, 79 marks in AAA paper, 82 marks in AAA paper. So you can be among them as well. So that means scoring 70, 75, 79, 82 is not a difficult parameter. If another student can do it, why not you? You need to motivate yourself. So you need to take on this challenge, and you need to find the best ways to overcome the challenge. Over the next 5 days, over the next 15 hours, I will be giving you the best solutions which will motivate you, which will give you confidence ahead of your June 22 exams. And you will feel far better when the webinar comes to an end after the 5 days. And you will say, okay, I'm more optimistic now. I feel better now to pass the AAA paper than what I was feeling on the first day of the webinar today. So over the next 5 days, automatically, you will see the level of optimism and the level of motivation increasing among all of you. So passing rate is a challenge, but where there is a challenge, there is a solution. So you need to look forward to the solution being given by the tutor over the next 5 days, because solution holds the key to success if you want to be among the 33% student who pass the AAA paper. So this is the pass rates of the recent exam sittings. Paper format, extremely important, though you must be knowing it, though you must have attempted the past papers by now, but still I want to spend 2 minutes on the paper format, because there is something extremely important which you should all be knowing about. Now, when you look at the paper format, you know that the paper comprises of 2 sections, section A and section B. The section A contains a 50 marks question, which is predominantly set at the planning stage of the audit. And on the day 2, yes, tomorrow, I will be drilling the question number 1 from the recent paper, September, December 21. And I will be guiding you what exactly the question 1 is, what exactly the question 1 expects from you, what exactly you have to do in the question number 1 to gain good marks. So the focus on question 1 is on the day 2 tomorrow, when I'll be drilling the question number 1 of a very recent exam sitting. So the first question, the section A, is set at the planning stage of the audit. So what you should be knowing about planning, what fundamentals you should be knowing about planning to be good in the first question. We will be discussing all that tomorrow, so don't worry about it. Then you look at the section B of the paper. It has 2 questions, each of 25 marks, one of which will be set at the reporting and completion stage of the audit, one of which. So you have 2 questions in the section B, one of which will be at the completion and reporting stage. So we are very sure about like 75% of the paper. We know this 50 marks question will be from the planning stage of the audit, which is basically the syllabus area D of your syllabus. And we know that one of the question in section B has to be from completion and reporting stage. One of them has to be from the completion and reporting stage, which is the syllabus area E. So syllabus area D and syllabus area E is an extremely important syllabus area as they contribute to 75% of your paper. So if you are strong in the syllabus area D and you are strong in syllabus area E, your survival in the AAA paper is stronger. So hold my words again, syllabus area D and syllabus area E, you have to be very strong enough. And both these syllabus area requires a sound understanding of your accounting standards, a sound understanding of the knowledge from the SBR paper. So both the syllabus areas here requires the accounting knowledge. And they hold the key, right? Because one of them will be in the section A and one of them will be in the section B. The rest of the paper can be surprise. Anything can come. But that's how you need to look at the AAA paper. That's the way of looking at the AAA paper. That is the holistic view of the AAA paper, which you should have developed by now when exams are 18 days away. Now moving further, syllabus versus the AAA paper. The section A, as we just discussed, will comprise of the syllabus area D. And the syllabus area D will only be tested in the question number 1. So that's an extremely important syllabus area. And that is a syllabus area which demands your understanding of accounting standards. Because from this syllabus area, you might come across topics like audit risk, risk of material misted. You might come across topics like procedures on accounting areas. So your accounting knowledge has to be very stronger for the section A question. We know in section A, examiner do ask for ethics and some miscellaneous areas, as I will be shedding more light to the question number 1 tomorrow on day 2. Section B, syllabus area E, completion and reporting is must, right? One of the question in section B has to be from syllabus area E and syllabus area F, other assignments. These are two crucial areas for section B. Now, syllabus area E is like must. You cannot get a section B without syllabus area E. That is must, just like syllabus area D, right? Syllabus area D is must. But when you look at the syllabus area F is not must, but whenever the examiner tests the syllabus area F, it will be tested in section B, not section A. So whenever the examiner tests syllabus area F, examiner will put it in the section B, not in section A. So we are very sure that syllabus area F will never come in section A, will definitely come in section B. But do syllabus area F come in every single exam setting? No. Do you get syllabus area F in March, June, September, and December? No. But do you get reporting and completion in March, June, September, and December? Yes, in every single exam setting. I hope you're clear with that, right? So again, the syllabus area D and E is the key. Syllabus area F, whenever it comes, it comes in the section B only. You cannot expect that coming in the section A. So syllabus area F is important from the section B point of view, but it's not like a mandatory topic which comes in every single exam sitting. So this is an important syllabus area, right? D, E, and F. But when you look at the other syllabus areas, A, B, C, they can come anywhere in the paper. Regulatory environment, ethical and professional issues, quality control and practice management. They can come anywhere in the paper. They can be in section A, they can be in section B. So ethical and professional matters, they can be scattered. You can find ethical and professional matters in question 1. You might even find them in section B. Regulatory environment, topics like money laundering, topics like professional skepticism, topic like auditor liability, topics like opening balances, topic like joint audit. You can find them anywhere in the paper. Quality control, you can find them in section B or section A as well. Practice management, accepting a new client or accepting a service from an existing client. You can find them in section A or section B equally. So they are flexible areas, right? And then we have the current issues. We have no current issue for the upcoming June exam. So a big cross. So that means when you are preparing for June exams, there is no new article. There is no new current issue for the June students. So when you are preparing yourself for the June exams, how many syllabus areas are you looking for? 6. A, B, C, D, E, F. And out of those 6, 2 are crucial, D, E. So you need to prioritize yourself over the next 18 days. I hope you found this holistic analysis of the paper versus the syllabus meaningful at this point in time when exams are 18 days away. Was that meaningful for all of you? If you can drop a message in the chat box. Okay, thank you. Moving further from the syllabus versus the AAA paper. So there is no current issues, right, for the June 22 exams. Mark my words, no new article. So you come out of the fear factor. Should we prepare any current issues for the June exams? No, you should not be preparing any current issues for the June exam. So that's a big no, right? Okay, moving onwards. Agenda of the webinar. What is the agenda? How would you plan the webinar from today over the next 5 days? Let's look at the agenda so you can prepare yourself effectively over the next 5 days. Now, when I was preparing the agenda of the webinar and looking particularly at the June 22 exam, lots of things were in my mind. I looked at the student conversations on the WhatsApp group over the Facebook. I looked at the recent exam results for March 22. And then I thought, what should ideally be discussed in this particular webinar? Because I've already done my December webinar and there are so many other webinars available. So I want to keep them different as well from the previous ones. So number one, the study planner. I thought I should give you a study planner for the last 18 days today. Any recent changes in the AAA paper, which you should be aware of for the June exams? Any new article, which you should be aware of? Let's see the answers to that. CBE practice platform. How much time are you putting on the platform? What you should be doing on the platform? Are you putting the right amount of efforts and time on the platform? Are you not? We need to find answers to that. September, December 21 paper and the examiner report is the critical part of my webinar for June. A drill into the question number 1, a drill into the question number 2, and a drill into the question number 3 of the paper with analysis of the examiner report. And that is day 2 and day 3. Critical days of the webinar, day 2 and day 3. Critical days of the webinar. Reinforcement of the core areas on day 4 and day 5. There are so many important things you need to know about core areas. There are so many important things you should know about procedures, evidence, reporting. There are so many important things you should know about other assignments. There are so many important things you should know about ethical, professional, and quality control issues. So I will be spending like 30, 40 minutes on every core area. So the last 2 days, I will be spending time on important core areas, like 35 to 40 minutes on each, so that you have a holistic idea of each core area and how they convert to success in the AAA paper, and how can they be important for you in terms of understanding and realizing their importance in success. Now, how would I split them over the 5 days? This is how the split would be. On the day 1, which is today, 19th of May, I will be looking at a study planner for the next 18 days, and I will be looking at the exam tips and techniques, because the first day is a motivational day. Now, after I create the motivation among all of you today, I will get to specific agenda from tomorrow, day 2 and day 3. I will be looking at the September, December 21 paper with the examiner report. So on the day 2 and day 3, we are just focused on September, December 21 paper with the examiner report and how to write an answer. Then on the day 4 and day 5, we'll be looking at core areas, part 1 and part 2. How can you control the core areas like reporting, like evidence, like procedures? Risk will already be done tomorrow on day 2. So when I look at the question number 1, risk will already be done in the question number 1 tomorrow. So I will not be considering risk in the day 4 and day 5, but the other areas will come in focus. There is so much misconception about reporting. Students are so bad at emphasis of a meta paragraph, other meta paragraph, key audit meta. Students so very bad at qualified opinion, adverse opinion. I need to bring clarity to that as well. So there is a sufficient time I will be spending on reporting as well on day 4 and day 5. So this is the webinar. This is the agenda. You can take a screenshot of this agenda and save it so you know what exactly comes up each day. Okay, now that's bringing us to the very first thing for day 1. Write study planner. Interesting. Today is the 19th of May, and you have paper, I guess, on the 6th of June, if I'm not wrong. That is technically 18 days, 1-8. Now, this is an extremely important time. When I was a student, even, I believe these last 2.5 weeks are very critical, because if you put the right effort at this point in time, you will be successful. And if you just misuse the time, you just spoil the time, you might not be getting success. This is the crucial time. Every day from 19th of May becomes extremely important. This is the most crucial time, and the amount of efforts which you will be doing from now to the 5th of June are extremely important. The amount of efforts you will be doing from now to the 5th of June is extremely important. Let's see, what is the right study planner? Frequently asked questions from the students. How should I go about studying for the AAA paper right at this time when I am 18 days away from exams? And I think every one of you will be having this question in mind. Every one of you must have thought about asking this question from me today. How should I go about studying the AAA paper 18 days away from exams? I will be giving you an answer for that shortly. Should the webinars and previous practice to pass sessions enough to pass? This has been so common question. Even the self-study students, not my registered students, are asking, are webinars enough? Are webinars enough? I need to bring clarity to that as well today. How much time should I be giving daily from now? That's a very frequently asked question. How much time from today onwards? 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours? We need to find an answer. Which resources should I be using and why? From now onwards, right? Should I read books from now onwards? Should I do all the past papers from now onwards? Should I evaluate examiner answers from now onwards? Frequently asked questions. I hope some of these questions might relate to you. Yes or no? Is there a question in the list which you had in mind today? Tell me. Is there any question in the list which you had in mind today? Yes or no? With the answers? Okay, Bilal is saying yes, the very first question. Okay, do you had any other question in mind? Any of the audience? Yes, the third one, Sarah is saying. Okay, so I believe there is a relevance of questions here, right? Which was in your mindset. Okay, Tirath, I've noted your question. Okay, let's move on, find answers to the frequently asked question. How should I go about studying the AAA paper right at this time when I'm 18 days away from exam? Now, there is no one answer. Why? Because every one of you are different. How should I go about studying 18 days away from exams? Now, some of you might have prepared AAA 90%. Some of you might have completed the AAA paper by now. Some of you must have started now. There are so many students who just started preparing the AAA exams just 10 days ago, just 15 days ago. So every one of you will be different. Where are you standing today? So you need to analyze, you need to evaluate, you need to do a self-appraisal. Where are you standing today? Right? So everyone is different, right? Some of you must have taken admissions after the March exams. So you need to analyze, where are you standing on the 19th of May? How much syllabus have you completed? How much percentage of syllabus have you completed? And then look forward. You have 18 more days. What will you do in these 18 days? Everyone will have a different answer. But is there something which should be common for all of you? Is there something common you should be doing in 18 days, irrespective how much syllabus you have done and how much syllabus you have not done? I will be coming to that right study planner shortly for every student, irrespective where you are standing today. Because where you are standing today will be different for every one of you, right? But is there any common way of success? Is there any common way what you should be doing in 18 days from now onwards? Let's find an answer for that in the next couple of minutes. But you need to perform a self-analysis of yourself right today. So sit down today and see, where are you today? Take a piece of paper, take a pen, evaluate where are you today. Then only you can devise the right strategy to pass the triple exam. Otherwise not. If you are scattered, you are confused, you are you don't know what to do, then that is not the right approach for the next 18 days. But if you know what to do, you are organized, your mindset is very clear, then absolutely you are on the right track to success for the upcoming exams. So I'll just come back to the answer of the first question shortly. Should the webinars and previous practice to pass sessions enough to pass? Yes. If you're a self-study student, yes. Because a self-study student could not afford the classes from an approved learning provider, or could not afford the classes from a registered student, or a self-study student always like to study alone. They don't want to engage with a tutor. Whatever sort of a student you are, but if you are a self-study student, you didn't take classes because you cannot afford it, or you didn't take classes because you never like to take classes. You have studied the entire ACCA yourself. Are the webinars and practice to pass sessions previous enough for you? Yes. But if you are a registered student, you were registered with a tutor, you were registered with a college, an approved learning provider, then the guidance given to you by the tutor, by the college is the priority. And with that, if your tutor has recommended you to watch some webinars, do watch them. Just like the June one, or just like the December one. I will be recommending some webinars to all of you shortly. How much time should I be giving daily from now onwards? Just give me 1 second. Okay, how much time should I be giving daily from now? Again, that will vary. 6 hours, 8 hours. Now, there might be so many students who are doing jobs. There might be so many students who are full-time students. So how can I give you one set of criteria, 8 hours? And the job-based student will say, how can I study 8 hours with my job? Yes, a full-time student, even you can study 24 hours. So you need to find your challenges, limitations, constraints, obstacles. Every one of you will have obstacles, challenges, constraints. And within that, you need to find what's the best way out. So look at your challenges, look at your limitations, look at your constraint, look at where are you standing today, do a self-appraisal. And after the self-appraisal, you will get the right direction for the next 18 days. Though I will be giving you that shortly. But I hope you all realize the importance of a self-appraisal. Everyone, do you realize the importance of doing a self-analysis today? Do you realize the importance of identifying your limitations and constraints? and challenges. Some might be doing job. Some might have recovered from an illness. There are so many challenges, right? So I've seen so many student messages saying we've just recovered from an illness, or some students saying we have so much job pressure. So you know your constraints, right? And you need to find the best answer. Which resources should I be using and why? I think the key resources is the past papers, examiner answers, examiner reports, and articles. That is it. From now onwards, these are 4 key resources: articles, answers, past papers, and reports. 4. Examiner answers, examiner question paper, examiner reports, and technical articles. I think from now onwards, this is the 4 best resources you will have on your table and you study. But which past papers, which examiner reports, which answers, all of them, some of them, I'm just coming down to the answer. Should I read the books at this point in time? Absolutely no. Absolutely no. At this point in time, absolutely no. The time for book reading has gone. The time for book reading is gone, right? No time for book readings. If you're reading the books now, you're wasting your time. The time now is practice. Should I do all past papers? No. Only September 18 onwards. Only September 18 onwards. So should I do all the past papers? No. Only September 18 onwards. The time left with. So if you want to make a productive use of the time. So that's extremely important. Should I evaluate the examiner answers? Yes. Day 2 and day 3. I will be telling you how you should evaluate examiner answer, how you should read examiner answers. Is there a best way to read examiner answers? Yes. But the way the student read the examiner answer, that creates misconceptions, that creates confusions, that create myths. But is there a best way to read them? Yes, there is a best way to read them. And I will be guiding you about that on the day 2 and the day 3. So these are some of the questions where we are searching for answers. Should I read the book is an absolute no. Should I do all the past papers? No, only September 18 onwards. What are the resources I should be using? I just recommended 4 resources: answers, past papers, examiner reports, and articles. Which articles, which papers? I'm coming to the answers of that shortly. Should I watch the previous webinars? Yes. How many? Again, I'm coming to the answers. How many hours should I put in to study? Again, that vary from a student to student. Let's go down and find the final answers so that you can make a right study planner. Need of a self-appraisal. This is what we were discussing, right? Quickly, just under 1 minute, and we're going off a need for a self-appraisal. You need to self-appraise yourself today. I hope you will all do that. I hope you will all do that. Do you agree with me? Waiting for your answers. You need to do a self-appraisal today. Will you all do it? Will you all identify where are you standing today? So you need to do that, right? You need to do that. Because my purpose on the day 1 is to motivate you. My purpose today is to give you the right confidence to pass the paper. So self-appraise yourself today. Number 1. Now look ahead. You still have 18 days. How would you go about utilizing them? I will just be giving you one good benchmark of what you should do in 18 days. But again, everyone is unique. So you have to judge what you will be doing in the 18 days. But a standard checklist will come from my side. Consider your challenges, constraints, and obstacles. No one is without challenges. No one is without constraints. No one is without obstacles. So you will definitely have them. So try to identify them and see how much time will be spoiled because of those challenges, constraints, and obstacles, and what will be the net time available to you to study. Set a timetable. Divide it in 2.5 weeks or 18 days and assign priorities based upon your self-appraisal. Now, see, for some of you, the priority might be that we are left with miscellaneous syllabus areas like money laundering, auditor liability, professional skepticism, joint audit. Some of you might say, oh, I've done it, but I need to assign priorities to audit risk and audit evidence and reporting, etc. So every one of you will have different priorities. Some of you might have done the core part and you're still left with the non-core part. Some of you might have done the non-core part and you're still left with the core part. So you need to assign the priorities. Some of you might have done the old past papers, but still need to do the new past papers and the vice versa. So you need to assign the priorities based upon your own self-appraisal, but that's extremely important. Setting a timetable, which most of the students don't do, because setting a timetable at this point in time is extremely important. Otherwise, the time will run away and you will come to the 6th of June when you have your actual paper. Must remember, more time on practice is crucial in the last 18 days before exams. If you are studying technical knowledge in the last 18 days, that's spoiling you. If you are studying the technical knowledge of the syllabus, that's spoiling you. This is the time when you should practice. This is the time when you look into the examiner answers. This is the time when you look into the past papers. This is the time when you look into the examiner reports and watch the previous webinars. This is a crucial time. But if you're reading books, you're reading the articles at this point in time, that's absolutely wrong. But some of the articles, key articles, must to know articles, that's important. So I will be recommending some key articles today, which is must to read at this point in time. Okay, the right study approach, whether you are a self-study student or you are taking classes from a tutor or a learning provider, irrespective. Yes, if you are taking classes from a tutor or a learning provider, you have an advantage because you have notes, you have tutor resources, you have learning provider resources, you know the right approach, you know the right mechanism. A self-study student might need to organize himself or herself over the next 18 days now. But we have seen some brilliant self-study students who even overtakes the student studying with a tutor or with a college. We have seen in the past the self-study students taking place winner positions in AAA paper. It's amazing. So that means that self-study students at times are far better than the students studying from a tutor or a learning provider. Now, irrespective what sort of student you are, let's look at the right approach to study in the next 18 days. This is the tick mark in front of your screen. I'll be sharing the presentation with you. You can take a printout or you can take the picture. This is what you need to do. I hope you can see the boxes, empty boxes. You have to tick them, tick marks. I've purposely kept the boxes empty because when you do it, tick mark. When you do it, tick mark. When you do it, tick mark. So it's like a box ticking. The first thing in the next 18 days, watch 3 previous webinars, June 21, September 21, and December 21. You are currently part of the June 22, right? Beside this, 3 more webinars. Where are the links of the webinar? I will be sharing that with you in my presentation today. Don't worry. So watch 3 previous webinars. Once you've watched them, tick. Revise the accounting standards. Once you've revised the accounting standards, tick. I will be telling you which accounting standards are more important, which are more regular, which needs to be revised at the priority side. Reading technical articles, tick. Have you read it? Tick. You still need to read them, tick. Now, see, some of you must say that we've already done this. Then simply take it off. You're very well prepared for the June exams. Some of you will say, oh, I've done 50% of it. I'm still left with 50. So this is self-appraisal, right? But this is the right strategy for last 18 days in front of your screen. Now, reading technical articles, which one? I will just be giving you a list of them, right? Which one? Revise accounting standards, which one? 2 questions still need to be answered. September, December 21 paper, plus the examiner report of the same exam setting, and plus the answers for a review of the marking scheme. Number one, March-June 21 paper plus the examiner report plus the answers for a review of the marking scheme. 2 papers. Third paper, September-December 20 paper plus the examiner report plus the answers. You will not look at the marking scheme of September-December 20 paper. You will only look at the marking scheme of the first 2 papers because they are the latest one, right? You can evaluate the answers of the September-December 20 paper, but not the marking scheme. So that is the reason I just deleted marking scheme from September-December 20. March 20 paper plus the examiner report plus the answers. And the last, AAA mock by ACCA on the practice platform. So this is the checklist. So over the next 18 days, watch 3 webinars. Number 1, revise accounting standards. Number 2, read articles 3. And how many papers you have to do over the next 18 days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the mock exam, 5 papers with the examiner report reading, Look at this. Look at this. Not just the paper, but the examiner report. You have to read it. I'll show you the way of reading it tomorrow and day after tomorrow, because I will be doing the September-December 21 myself in the webinar. So if you watch this webinar, you are done with September-December 21. I will be evaluating the marking scheme. I will be evaluating the answer. I will be guiding you about the reports. So plenty of those things will be coming tomorrow and day after tomorrow. But are you all clear with this box ticking in front of your screen? So that's where you need to be, right? That's where you need to be, revising the accounting standards, reading the articles, watching the webinars, and so on and so forth. I'll just give you a list of which accounting standards and which articles. But I hope you're all clear with the 18 days agenda. No, you should not do the specimen exam on the CBE platform. A big no to that. Just focus on the ones in front of your screen. I think these 3 over here are available on the practice platform. The March 20 is not available on the practice platform, so you have to do it in the blank workspace. But September-December 21, March-June 21, and September-December 20 is available on the practice platform. But March 20, you have to do it on the blank workspace. And then you can do the AAA mock on the practice platform itself. Okay, moving forward. Watch previous webinar. These are the hyperlinks. So you can watch the June 21 webinar. This is the hyperlink. You will get the presentation. Watch the September 21 webinar. This is the hyperlink. And watch the December 21 webinar. This is the hyperlink. So you just need to ensure that you are watching these webinars and you have the hyperlinks of them given. That's extremely important. So watch the 3 previous webinars as recommended for the next 18 days. Next, revision of the accounting knowledge. To pass the AAA paper, you should have sound accounting knowledge you have gained from the SBR paper. And that is the reason it's recommended that the gap between the SBR paper and the AAA paper should be less. Either you are giving SBR with AAA, or you must have given SBR in the previous exam setting and the AAA in the upcoming exam setting. So the gap between the AAA and the SBR should be less, so that you are very good on the syllabus area D and the syllabus area E of the paper. To revise the accounting knowledge, you need to go over summaries of the accounting standards, for which multiple ways are available as follow. You can go to the channel on YouTube, CBD Box channel on YouTube, and this is the link of that channel. And on that CBD Box channel, you can watch some very interesting videos on summaries of accounting standards. You can go through the financial reporting revision chapter from BPP or Kaplan book, which is the last chapter in the book. So either you're using the BPP book or the Kaplan book, the last chapter of the book is the financial reporting revision. And that last chapter is worthful. to be read as a revision of the accounting standards. Or you can read the exam technique article part 3 published by the examiner. The hyperlink of that is given over here. But the exam technique article just contains a summary of IS 36 and 38. So at least from this article, you can get to know about 36 and 38. And then you can read the examiner answers. You can read the examiner answers for audit risk. You can read the examiner answers for risk of material misstatements. And that will be interesting for all of you. Because when you read the examiner answer for audit risk and risk of material misstatement, you come across so many accounting treatments and you can revise them. You can keep a highlighter with you and you can just highlight the accounting treatment, and that can become so wonderful summaries of revising the accounting standards. So whichever source you want to use, that's up to you. But these are possible ways from where you can revise the accounting standards. The hyperlinks are given and you can explore them. Either it's the book chapter, either it's the examiner answers, or it's the exam technique article. I found examiner answers the best, because if you read the audit risk answer, the question number 1 answer. So if you read the question number 1 answer, you get so many standards in one exam sitting. So you can revise them up. So even if you do 5 past papers and you read the question number 1 answer of the 5 past paper, you might have like 20, 23 accounting standards on your fingertips. And that's excellent. So that's how you will be going down with the revision of the accounting knowledge. Okay, now just before moving further, I just want to take on my Word file for the session today. I hope on the screen you can see the day 1 Word file. Please confirm that. Which technical articles to read in last 18 days, and which accounting standards to revise in last 18 days, right? So these are 2 key questions, right? Are you looking for the answers to them? Yes, Bilal, for even the registered students, the 3 previous webinars, right? But it's totally up to you. If you think you are very well prepared, you can just watch the 2 webinars instead of 3. So is everyone looking for the answers? Which technical articles to read in the last 18 days and which accounting standards to revise in the last 18 days? Can you see the Word file in front of your screen? Okay, let's search for the answers. Let's first go down which technical articles to read in the last 18 days. Okay, let's go down and look at the website of ACCA for the articles. Okay, can you see the technical articles website in front of your screen now, all of you? Please, can you confirm that? Can you all see the technical article screen in front of your gadgets? Okay, thank you. Okay, you scroll down. The good thing ACCA has done, they have divided the articles into syllabus areas, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I hope you're familiar with that. There's no current issue for this exam sitting in June. The current issues available are the older ones, so they're not applicable now. We never seen repetition of current issues. So if a new current issue comes in, it will be applicable for June, but currently there is no one. So let's see which technical articles out of the many available on the website you should be reading in the last 18 days. Again, the disclaimer is last 18 days. Should you read all the articles? Yes. But now in the 18 days, what you should do? Okay, technical articles in order. Syllabus area A, corporate governance and its impact on audit practices. I would not recommend that you should read it. Yes, I would recommend that you read this article because laws and regulation comes a lot in the AAA paper. So I would prefer laws and regulations to be read in the last 18 days. So laws and regulation, the second article, laws and regulations. So that should go back to my list of the articles to read. Number 1, laws and regulations. laws and regulations. So that's the article you should be reading. That's exactly the title right on the website. Okay, moving back. Okay, exam technique for advanced audit and assurance. I'm just leaving that to you. If you've not read this article, I'm just looking at the knowledge articles, right? I'm not looking at the technique articles. There are 5 technique articles which I'm not looking at currently. Auditor liability, yes, that's important. You should read it because we know examiner has asked for joint audit advantages and disadvantages recently. So might even ask for something from auditor liability. It's been very long. Examiner has asked for anything from auditor liability. You might get something in the June 22 exams out of auditor liability. Okay, moving backwards. Okay, massaging the figures, no. Next, exam technique for advanced audit and insurance part 2, exam technique for part 4, group audits, risk and understanding the entity. Okay, group audits, because examiner asks a lot about principal auditor engaging with component auditor, and what should the principal auditor do for component auditor? What are responsibilities of the principal auditor for component auditor? So I think a lot of information comes from this article. Would be important if you can read through it. Group audit, right? The group audit will become important. Number 3, group audit. Number 3. Okay, moving backwards to the article list. Risk and understanding the entity, that's more like the application. We'll do the application tomorrow. Audit in a specialized industry. No. Auditing disclosures in financial statement. Yes, I would recommend you to read this. Auditing disclosures in financial statements might help you down with procedures. Okay, auditing disclosures in financial statements. Auditing disclosures in financial statements. Some of them are application based, so we'll be covering them in the next 4 days. So I'm not worried about them. Okay, using the work of internal audit. Yes, I would recommend that to read it. A lot of time examiner asks for questions on using the work of an expert, using the work of an internal auditor. So you should have sound knowledge on that. Using the work of internal auditor might help you down somewhere in exam context. Okay, moving audit risk. No, that's more practical. We can just solve the question number 1, audit working paper, audit in a computerized environment, specific aspects of computer-based environment. No. Completion and review, exam technique articles. Yes, this is important, exam technique article, because it has so much misconceptions about reporting. Exam technique article part 5 is must, because you get across a lot of misconceptions students have about reporting. So I would recommend that students should read this article, exam technique for advanced audit and assurance part 5, because a lot of misconception about reporting can be mitigated from this particular article. Okay, next. So far we have 7 in the list. Evaluation of misstatement, no. Completion of the audit, going concern, auditor report to those charged with governance. Yes, I would keep this one in my list, completing the audit and auditor reports to those charged with governance. Completing the audit. The next one is auditors report to those charged with governance. We do get questions on matters to be communicated to those charged with governance in a syllabus area E question, if you've seen the past papers. So I have to keep that in my list. Examining evidence, other assignments. In other assignments, we have 2 articles. Both of them are important. Performance information in public sector. I believe you should read it, and forensic audit, the last one. This one and the last one, forensic audit. So that's the list of 10 articles you should be reading over the next 18 days. That's not a big list, but these are articles for the last 18 days. You should not say, okay, this is the only one we are reading. You should read each and every article, but the time for reading each and every article has now ended. It's now selective studies. So what is the selective studies you're doing for the last 18 days? The one on your screen currently. Right. So these are the list of 10 articles I've taken from the website. which you should be reading at any cost. Is that clear to all of you? Now, which accounting standards you should be going about in the last 18 days? Let me put a disclaimer, because putting disclaimers for students is extremely important, because they really take the words of the tutor wrongly. You should know each and every accounting standard from the SBR syllabus. You should know each and every accounting standard from the SBR syllabus to better secure success in AAA. However, following are the repetitive ones in AAA. Following are the repetitive ones in AAA. What are repetitive standards in AAA? Number one, there is one block, which is the most repetitive block, IS 36, IS 37, and 38. This is the most favorite one of the examiner. Should be very sound on that. IAS 40 and 41, they've coming a lot in recent past. Then IAS 20 comes a lot, government grant. IAS 23, related party transaction, that comes a lot. Then IAS 16, that comes a lot, property, plant, and equipment. You should be conceptually clear around that area. Okay, then you should be clear on IFRS 2, which comes a lot, IFRS 5, IFRS 8, IFRS 15, that's the most important one, IFRS 15 and IFRS 16. Along with that, you should be clear on IFRS 3, business combination. You should be and the IFRS 9. Okay, that's the list of 12. If you take 36, 37, 38, so that list will go to 14, but this is the list of the most repetitive one. IS 10 is not very repetitive, Bilal. I'm just trying to put the repetitive one, which are like very, very repetitive. Right, so this is the list of repetitive one. So please ensure you are very strong in this. What is the source of revising them? Again, examiner answers, the summary at the end of the BPP and Kaplan book, or the channel CBD box on YouTube. So you need to find your own ways of revising. If you have a better list, you have a better summary, you have already prepared a summary on accounting standards, that's excellent, right? So please ensure these are the repetitive one, right? I'm not saying these are the one which will come in the June exam, because a lot of times the student says, oh, the tutor has told us which accounting standards will come this time. No, these are the repetitive ones. These are the repetitive ones, right? I hope you're not taking my wordings wrongly here. Yes, so sorry for that. Just need to make one correction. IS 24, sorry, not 23. Number 4. It's IS 24, sorry. Related party, not IS 23. So this is the list, right, of the standards. So is that clear which technical articles to read and which accounting standards to go for in the last 18 days? If I go back to my presentation, we were looking at some answers, right? Okay, look at this presentation. Watch 3 previous webinars. Have I given you the hyperlinks of the 3 previous webinars? Tell me. Have I given you the hyperlinks of the 3 previous webinars to watch? Right? So we're done with this. Revise accounting standards. Have I given you clarity which one are more repetitive, though you have to do every one of them? Okay, reading the technical articles. Have I given you clarity on that? Okay, then you have to do the past papers. September, December 21, which is also the agenda of this webinar. March, June 21, September, December 20, March 20, and the mock exam. So a total of 5 with mock. Yes, I will be going into examiner answers tomorrow and day after tomorrow, just to tell you what's the way of going with examiner answer, because what you are asking is perfectly right. Examiner answers are very lengthy and you get distracted with it. So what we need to do with examiner answers, how should we use examiner answers? I will be giving you a guidance for that on day 2 and day 3, and then you will be in a far better position of using the examiner answers productively. I hope you're getting the answer to your question. Yes, these notes will be available, right? The one I'm writing on the screen in the Word file. Don't be worried about it. Yes, you can read the marking schemes. The marking schemes are very, very important. See, I've mentioned here marking schemes for 2 papers. At least for 2 papers, you have to read the marking schemes. They're extremely important. So I hope you're all getting the right study approach tick marks in front of your screen. Are you all happy with that? What should be the timetable for the next 18 days? If you want to fit something more in these, in this, it's your option, because self-appraisal is first. So this is not self-appraisal, right? This is something which I am recommending to you. But should something more come into this checklist? Yes, that is on the basis of your self-appraisal. Okay, moving forward, we got answers to articles. We got answers to this, right? Okay, look at this. When you go to the practice platform, on the practice platform, you have a section known as a past exam library, right? Let me show you that. When you go to the practice platform, okay, can you see the practice platform in front of your screen, everyone? Yes, notes will be available of this webinar, right? Don't worry. I will be sharing the notes in the appropriate WhatsApp group. Okay, you can see the practice platform screen. Okay, you go to the advanced audit and assurance. Just 1 second. Okay, you go to the advanced audit and assurance and you look at international. In the international, you look at the ACC official resources, right? Now, in the ACC official resources, you look at the past exam library. See this. Can you see the past exam library? There are 3 latest questions in the past exam library. March, June 21, September, December 20, and September, December 21. You have to do them on the platform. So March 20 is not available on the platform. March 20, you have to do it on the blank workspace. So 3 latest questions is under the past exam library, right? Let me show you where is the mock. Where is the mock? Okay, can you see this area, practice exams valid for June 22? Can you see the practice exams valid for June? Right? Can you see the mock exam here? Under the practice exams valid for June. Practice exams valid for June. Can you see the mock exam? Right? So that's where the mock exam is. So a mock exam and the 3 latest papers under the past exam library. Under the past exam library, there are 3 papers under the past exam library, and 1 is the mock exam here. So that's 4. 5th is the March 20. March 20 paper is not on the platform, right? So if you want to write the answer for the March 20 paper, where will you write the answer for the March 20 paper? You will write the answer for the March 20 paper where? In the blank workspace. Can you see the blank workspace here? So can you see the blank workspace? On the blank workspace, you will do the March 20 paper, right? You will do the March 20 paper on the blank workspace. I hope you're clear with that. So how many papers are you solving on the platform in total? Give me the answer. How many papers are you solving on the platform? A total of? No, 3, 5. How 3? 5. Total of 5, right? A mock exam, March 20, September, December 20, September, December 21, and March, June 20. A total of 5 papers, right? I've just given you a list of 5 in the checklist. Is that clear to all of you? Okay, so that's what you are looking for, right? So on the practice platform, you need to do this past exam library. This is the must for 18 days you have. And you need to do this mock exam. The mock exam is must for 18 days. But September 18, December 18, and March, June 19. In the last 18 days, you cannot do them. But if you want to do them, do them. So I'm not recommending September, December, and March, June 19. I'm not recommending them. But if anyone wants to do them, please do it. September 18 is the practice exam 1. December 18 is the practice exam 2. And March, June 19 is the practice exam 3. If you want to do the practice exam 1, 2, 3, it's up to you. But I'm not recommending them considering the constraint of time. You have to do the mock exam as well, right? So this is how you will be going about with the practicing past papers on the platform. I hope you're clear on that, all of you. Now, when you use the platform, I will be using the platform tomorrow, day 2 and day 3. I will be logging into the platform tomorrow and day after tomorrow. I will be solving a question on the platform so I can exactly tell you what right or what wrong you do with the platform, or what right and what wrong you do when you're using the commands and functionalities. Students are so confused with calculators and scratch pads and copy paste and opening one window, closing the other window. I hope you have problems like such. Opening one, closing the other, how many windows to open, should I use the calculator, should I not use the calculator, should I use the spreadsheet, should I not use the spreadsheet? There are so many misconceptions the student have with the practice platform. And if you have them, you will be taking them with you in the actual paper on the 6th of June. So they need to be mitigated, right? So I'll be making use of the platform tomorrow and day after tomorrow. But when you look at the platform, become familiar with the workspace you will see on the day of exam. So start using the practice platform, because the more familiar you are with the practice platform, you will get the benefit of that on the day of exam. So if anyone has not yet started to use the practice platform, please start to use it for the 5 papers recommended by the tutor for the last 18 days. And I will be demonstrating the use of the platform on day 2 and on day 3. And you will learn so important things about the platform over the next 2 days. Move around the workspace. Understand how to read through it. A lot of times the student don't know how to read a case study on the platform, how to annotate, how to highlight. Students should be very good on annotations. Students should be very good on using highlighters, scratch pads, calculators. Should scratch pad be used or not? You will find the answer for that tomorrow. Should you use the calculator or not? You will find the answer of that tomorrow. Should I write my whole answer in the word processor, or should I write some of the answer in the spreadsheet? Should I use the spreadsheet for performing calculations? See, so many questions. So are you eager to get the answers to these questions tomorrow in the day 2? I hope these are valid questions, right? Students are confused about spreadsheets. Am I right? Students are confused about using spreadsheets in the AAA paper. Am I right? I'm asking this question to all of you. So do you have confusions about spreadsheets, everyone? Yes or no? Yes. So are you waiting for how to overcome the confusion tomorrow? Okay. Are you confused about calculators? Should you use your own calculator, or you should use the on-screen calculator? Right? And what about scratch pads? How many of you use scratch pads? And how many of you are simply have a fear factor with scratch pads? How many of you use scratch pads? Tell me. Okay, never used it. Not me. I don't like it. That's very good. No, even I don't like it. But I need to give you a clarity that you should not use the scratch pad. You should not use it because I believe it creates an extra hassle. It creates an extra pressure of putting things in the scratch pad, right? You can directly use the word processor for everything. So I'll be giving clarity on that. So I hope you will enjoy the session tomorrow, day 2 and day 3, when we'll come with clarity on highlighters and scratch pads and spreadsheets, functionalities, annotating. Should you use the different color highlighters when you're annotating, etc. Next, understand how to manage multiple windows and how to keep your workspace tidy for an effective use. How many windows you should have open at one time and how you can keep the workspace tidy. If you have too many windows opened, suppose you've opened the exhibit 1, you have opened the exhibit 2, you've opened the exhibit 3, you've opened the exhibit 4, and you've opened the spreadsheet, and you've opened the word processor. You cannot manage so many windows at one point. At times, students, when they're using the laptops in the offices, they keep so many windows open on the laptop even. And the same they do with the practice platform. The maximum windows which are manageable, even by me as a tutor, is 2. Even I cannot manage more than 2 windows. 2 is the best answer. I will be guiding you about that tomorrow. So I hope you are all getting some mindset for how to use the platform tomorrow. Understand the benefit of copy paste, undo and redo, formatting, and speed, and the speed over pen and paper exams to really benefit from CV. What sort of speed you should be having? That's a very frequently asked question. Will be addressed tomorrow. Copy paste. What are examiner criticism with copy paste? What does examiner don't like with copy paste? So I need to address the examiner criticism tomorrow on copy paste. There is a lot of criticism of the examiner on copy paste. I need to address that. Undo, redo. So you should be very confident on undo, redo, because see, when you're doing a paper on computer, should you have advantage? Yes. Copy, paste, undo, redo. Are these advantages of a computer-based exam over pen and paper exam? Do you all believe copy, paste, undo, redo is the benefit of a computer-based exam over a paper-based exam? So should you use them cleverly, not using in a way where you call the attention of the examiner criticism? So I will be using them tomorrow. Don't worry, and telling you what's the right approach. You can attempt any question from the revision kit, which is not on the platform, by using the blank workspace. Have I highlighted the blank workspace today that you have to do the March 20 paper on the blank workspace? So if any question is not available on the platform, you can still do it using the blank workspace as you will be doing it for the March 20 paper. The more you work on the blank workspace, you will gain confidence of becoming familiar with the workspace, the functionalities of the workspace, and gain command and speed ahead of your exam. So I've given you a task of 5 papers on the platform. If you practice these 5 papers on the platform, the way I will be guiding you tomorrow and day after tomorrow, you will gain confidence on the platform ahead of your exams on the 6th of June. And that will be really, really beneficial for all of you, right? So I hope you got the right study planner. You got the right approach for the next 18 days. I hope you got the right answer to the number of articles you should be reading over the next 18 days, the number of accounting standards you should be revising, right? Okay, critically review the marking schemes. I will be demonstrating that tomorrow and day after tomorrow. A lot of time, the student don't read the marking scheme. How many marks are available per audit risk? Students have no idea. How many marks are available per business risk? Students have no idea. How many marks do you get when you write a procedure? How many marks you get when you write a safeguard for an ethical issue? How many marks you get when you write a quality control issue? You should have clarity of the marking schemes, which is extremely important. I will be giving you clarity on marking schemes day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. But when you look at the examiner answers, there are so clear marking scheme given. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, you will see how easy is it to learn the marking scheme. I think this is a lame excuse that it's difficult to learn the marking scheme, because honestly, the marking scheme is so easy in the AAA paper, minus the audit risk or risk of material misstatement. I think the most difficult marking scheme which you need to put on your fingertips is for audit risk and risk of material misstatement. Rest, it's almost like one mark per every relevant point you write. 1 mark per relevant point you write. But yes, for audit risk, there is a marks for materiality. There is a marks for calculations. Some of the audit risk are worth 3 marks. Some of the audit risk are worth 2 marks. So that there is a bit of confusion there, but rest of things are clear, right? But I will be spreading information about marking schemes over the next 4 days, so don't worry about it. I believe you should have a habit of reading the marking schemes. That's more important. And normally on the last 2 to 3 pages of the answers, you all read answers, right? But on the last 2 to 3 pages of the answers, you have the marking guide. How can you make use of the marking guide? How can you productively use the marking guides? Even though I've guided about them in my previous webinars as well, but I will be reinforcing that tomorrow and day after tomorrow on the day 2 and the day 3 specifically. Review the latest examiner answers of the last 3 to 4 exam sittings so that you're familiar with the marking scheme. So at least ensure the latest paper, September, December 21. If I can just show you that, though that's the purpose for tomorrow. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, can you see in front of your the marking scheme here? Can you see the marking scheme, which I will be using over the next 2 days, September, December 21 sample marking scheme right here? All of you? Right, so I'll be going over it, right? I will be going over it. See, examiner gives you how many marks are available for question number 1A and 1B, and see how lengthy the marking scheme is. So you should spend careful time on marking schemes to understand topic by topic the marking scheme. So I will be spending a careful time on the marking schemes tomorrow and day after tomorrow. I will be sharing these documents with you over the next few days so that you can benefit from these documents as well. So back to the presentation. So critical review of the marking scheme is extremely important, because if you're ignoring the marking scheme, either you are writing way too much or way too less. If you're not familiar with the marking scheme, you might be writing a lot. Sometimes the examiner says that for a 24 marks audit risk question, the students think they need to write 12 audit risk, which is wrong, because a student thinks that ideally every risk is worth 2 marks. No, some of the risks are even worth 3. Some of the risks are even worth more than 3 marks. I need to demonstrate how you know that this risk is worth how much. How would you know in the exam this risk is worth 2 marks or 3 marks or more than 3 marks? I need to give you clarity of that. But 24 marks question on audit risk doesn't mean that you're writing 12 audit risk. That is way too much. Ideally, something like 9 audit risk or 10 will wrap up the answer for 24 audit risk. I will be demonstrating that tomorrow when I take on the question number 1 of the September, December 21 paper, where we have a question for 24 marks on audit risk. Okay, critically review the examiner reports. They're extremely important. I've recommended you to read examiner reports of 4 exam sittings, right? September, December 21, September, December 20. I've recommended you to read the examiner report for March 20 and even for the March, June 21, right? I've recommended 4 examiner reports to be read over the next 18 days, right? So where can you find the examiner reports? Right at this hyperlink. So if you just click on this hyperlink, you will reach the destiny where examiner reports are available. You just need to download 4 latest examiner reports and start to read them. How would you read them? I will be guiding you about them tomorrow and day after tomorrow. What is the best way to read an examiner report? What is the best way to approach an examiner report? So you will benefit from that tomorrow and day after tomorrow, and then you can start reading the further examiner reports yourself. The examiner reports do tell us the journal reasons why students fail in a paper, and students ignore them. And you do the same mistakes in your actual exam. Why don't you read examiner reports? Why? And that is the reason lots of students fail in a AAA paper, because they are doing the same mistake which the examiner don't like. But you are unaware of it. You are unaware of it because you're not reading it. I believe my registered students have a better tendency of reading it because I do encourage in my course to read it. Am I right? At least my registered students have a tendency of reading it better over the others because I do reinforce the importance of that. But majority students don't read it. And they continue to fail in the AAA paper, not realizing the time and the efforts you're putting on the AAA paper every time. So you need to know the examiner reports, the reason of failing. Examiner criticism is question-wise, topic-wise. So examiner will tell you criticism for audit risk, ethics, procedures, evidence, reporting, everything. Examiner also appreciates. So you can highlight that. Examiner also tells you this is brilliant. He encourages that this was brilliantly done by a student. So you also get the appreciation of the examiner. And yes, you also get the criticism of the examiner. So that's like a more holistic analysis of the examiner. So if you read the holistic analysis of the examiner, the do's and don'ts of the examiner, you will be in a far better position to know what mistakes you should not be doing on the 6th of June. And what examiner appreciate is what you can do. So I will be doing a lot of green and red analysis tomorrow. I will be using a lot of green and red analysis tomorrow, that this is the red analysis, you should not do it. This is the green analysis, you should do it. And you will learn the way to read an examiner report honestly tomorrow. So lots of things on day 2 and day 3, which I am again encouraging you, because day 3 and day 2 are the most important day of this webinar. The first day today is just a motivational day, just setting the right pitch, the right tone, the right approach, the right study planner, what you should do, what you should not do, how you should be going about reinforcing things in the next 2.5 weeks, etc. Yes, but the papers, for example, the paper is September, December 21, then the examiner report is September, December 21. So at least you can benefit that way, right? So at least the 4 examiner reports I have highlighted relates with the same paper. So if you download the September, December 21 paper and you download the September, December 21 examiner report, they are correlated. And that goes the same way with the 4 exam papers I have recommended. I hope you're clear with the answer. Okay, we are now ending the first part of the day 1 of the webinar to success for June. I will be resuming back with the second part of the day 1 shortly, and that will be focused on how would you organize yourself in the next 18 days, and more importantly, how you should be aware of the changes or the new articles. Are there any changes? Are there any new articles? We'll be spending time on that in the second part of the day 1 today. And more importantly, about how would you go about organizing yourself for the next 18 days. So far on the first part of the day 1 of the webinar to success for June, we have covered the approach you should take for the next 18 days, which was the most important outcome of the first part. This is the checklist in front of your screen. And we also spend a very careful time on the need of a self-appraisal, because that's extremely important. And more importantly, frequently asked questions which the student have in the mindset. So I'm just holding myself right here with the day one, because we still have another session on day one, which is a part 2 of day one, which comes up shortly, and where I will be focusing on the way to organize yourself in the next 18 days. And more importantly, are there any changes which you should be familiar with? And most importantly, is there any new article which you should be focusing on for the upcoming June 22 exams? I hope you had a productive session so far, so forth. Just waiting for your feedback before I say you goodbye and meet you back in some time from now onwards. How was the session today? Yes, this part will be uploaded in the next couple of hours along with the second part. So both parts gets together and uploaded. Yes, you will feel motivated, right, over the next 5 days. So if you are demotivated, don't worry, watch the webinar daily and you will start to feel optimistic about your exams. Both the parts, right, day one, part one, day two, one, part two will get merged and uploaded together today only. Okay, so I hope to see you all back in the second session, which starts at 5:30 p.m. Pakistan time and run up to 7 p.m. So I hope to see you all back at 5:30 p.m. for another interesting 90-minute session. Okay, take care, all of you. This is your tutor, Kashif Kamran, signing off from the part 1, day 1 of the June 22 webinar to success. And I'll see you back shortly. Take care. Goodbye and Allah Hafiz.